Made, the show that we believe that you can be a millionaire in all 6 aspects of health. We do episodes on your physical health, mental health, intellectual health, social health, spiritual health, and your financial health. Today, we have a super special episode on spiritual health and volunteering. So if you are not volunteering and you are wondering why your spiritual health is not doing well, hopefully this episode will help you. Millionaires Are Made is the show that's built on the fundamental belief that every person you meet knows something you don't, and there's something to be learned from everyone. In the spirit of authenticity and to remove as much bias as possible, I don't even meet our guests until about 15 minutes before the show, and then we quickly go over order of things, and then we get live on here so that everyone on our show has their own thoughts, their own path, their own journey, and they're going to share tips with you, and hopefully you can relate with at least one, if not all 4 of us, to improve your spiritual health today. Audience, please, we love engagement, comment, ask questions. You know, we have a lot of information that goes through on these, but we'll ask any question you have and we'll respond to your comments. Please engage with us and let us know what you want to know about volunteering and spiritual health. If you ever need guests for any of your podcasts, these are 4 awesome people. Please shoot us a DM, shoot us a message, comment on this, and we'll get them on your podcast to improve that as well. If you want to be a guest, we will take you. Anyone has something that they can share with the world, and we do topics on just about anything. On that note, if you have an awesome topic that you're confused about or unsure about, let us know. We'll go find 3 awesome guests, and they'll give you some tips on it and help teach you about that. Sponsors. We do have 2 sponsors for this episode. Real quick, we've got our InstaFarm, which I have on the sweet window here. InstaFarm is amazing. You can grow your own microgreens in your house. You literally do jack shit. I fucking put a tray in. These are brand new ones. This one was planted yesterday, already growing. And it automatically waters. The soil is already developed for that plant. It grows within 7 days. You can harvest. It's freaking awesome. Lilith, you are right. It's going to be an awesome topic. Spiritual health volunteering is huge. You know, not many people volunteer for financial health, but it does help your spiritual health. So we're going to learn about that a little bit. Our second sponsor is one of the most fascinating men. He's been through a lot, man, in the world. His name is Tony Lynch. He has an awesome podcast called Grief. Let's Talk About It. It's a topic that probably isn't that much time on. People grieve in so many different ways. But if you want a grief expert and you're going through something tough, I'm sorry, I feel you, but please go follow Tony because he can help you out much more than I can. But if you're looking for volunteering and spiritual health, today is the day. If you like what we do and you love all the free information we have and meeting all these guests, please like, share, comment, subscribe. However you're watching, please connect with us. It helps us keep this going and gets us all excited for our next show. And without further ado, I've got about a minute to talk about my tip on volunteering. I don't really know if it's a tip. It's something I literally just thought about last night. And so, I mean, this show and my free coaching programs, free coaching I offer as well, is all about giving back. So the past year and a half of my life has been I started out not volunteering. Now I'm doing lots of volunteering. And it's super awesome, super helpful. I love creating this show. I love meeting all the guests. I love sharing all the tips. I love reading all the comments and watching people just grow and change their lives. And it's awesome. I love my free coaching program because I meet so many people that would have never met in my life before. Come in and get their coaching, get some learning. It's amazing. Sometimes I feel like I'm a life coach and not just a financial or business coach. But I'm trying to, I need some help here. I want to take my free coaching and incorporate it with a nonprofit or government program for like just people that are lost. So here's the big thing. My last coaching session a couple days ago was a woman who had a child with a guy. And after like 2 or 3 years, maybe it was 1 year. I think it was 1 year living together. You know, guy had some anger issues, ended up throwing a bottle and it like broke near them and she took the kid and left. No money, no house, no nothing, completely lost. Looking to, government assistance, looking for this and that. And my lifelong dream has always been to have a place with free lodging, free education, free job, whatever. You just can come here, get away from all your surroundings, and we'll just, let you reset. And so I am looking for some way to get my free coaching into people like that so I can reach a broader audience of people that may not know what investing is, may not know what budgeting is, may not know how to present for a job or job interviews or where to even look for jobs or any of that kind of shit. I would love to teach them. So if you know anyone that works with, I don't even know, homeless or abused or something like that with people that just are lost, please let me know, because I'd love to start getting in there and talking to those type of people and trying to teach them and grow and build from that. That's where I'm feeling my calling right now. So my tip is not a tip. It's a request for help. Without further ado, though, we are going to move into our first guest because I'm done talking. Enough of me. Let's go talk to Bree. Bree, who are you?
Hi, yeah, my name is Bree, and after a lifetime of an incurable chronic neurological movement disorder and a near-death experience, I ended up being a death and spiritual doula.
All right. So that kind of talks about your past a little bit. Let's go right to the nitty-gritty right here. If I wanted to improve my spiritual health with volunteering, what simple tip would you give me?
Yeah, follow your heart to unravel your soul's purpose.
Follow your heart to unravel your soul's purpose. Man, there's so many people I want to tag in that line that believe that to the core. I love it. All right, Bree, tell us how we do that.
Yeah, so I can share how to do that based on my own journey. So I actually healed from my chronic illness, and I had a near-death experience.
Right? It was incurable?
Yeah, it was incurable.
Okay.
And I've learned how to actually heal anything, or how to teach people how to heal things as well. And between my near-death experience and this knowledge, I've always been interested in volunteering. So I've always tried to find where my heart was telling me to go. So I tried volunteering at food banks. I sewed heart pillows for breast cancer patients. I volunteer for photo shoots and behind the scenes trash pickups. But I really, after my near-death experience, started volunteering for hospice. And that changed my life. And then I got into volunteering for IANS, which is the International Association for Near-Death Studies. And it really led me into my soul's purpose and my soul's path. I was still in a different industry completely. I was in construction. And it was through volunteering that I was able to step into my soul's purpose.
Ooh, all right. All right. So you talked a little bit about it. Let's see if there's a defining moment or a defining period in your life journey that taught you your piece of advice.
Yeah, so exploring all the different volunteer opportunities, once I felt my soul light up, and I just felt it was kind of selfish because I felt so good, and being able to give back in the capacity with hospice specifically, I realized, whoa, this is the moment. This means something to me. I've got to dig deeper.
Cool. Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much, Bree. We're going to move on to our next guest then. Wow, so insightful. I love it. We've got John coming in. Hey, John, how you doing today?
Hey, man, doing good, Austin. How about yourself, sir?
I'm great, man. Can you tell me who you are?
Yeah, so I stem from sunny Dallas, Texas. I've been here 34 years professionally selling. I'm an author, and I have an international comedy podcast. And simply, I teach people to professionally sell like I've been doing for 34 years. And it's just done with my masterclass. It's a 3-day boot camp that they can get for $29.95 that I actually used to post out for $400 with my book for free. So it's a daddy of a deal, but that's what I do, Austin.
Very cool. All right, John, I got a serious question for you.
Go right ahead.
If I wanted to improve my spiritual health with volunteering, what simple tip could you give me?
Ask a question and start small.
Ask a question and start small. So not volunteer your entire life away and be done with that. Tell us a little more about that then.
Yeah, so I was a Boy Scout leader for 7 years, took the kids to camp for a week for 7 years, gave a lot of my time for 7 years to the boys. And it all started with sending an email to the Scoutmaster that I researched online. And I just told them kind of my background, that I'd been in Boy Scouts as a young man. And I also was an assistant scout leader years ago when I was in my 20s. And I just said, how can I help? And that was just kind of my question. I mean, that's also how, when I used to visit nursing homes, I called up the nursing home and I'm like, do you ever let people just come out and visit with the residents? I mean, is that available? I was like 22, 23 years old, and it started with the phone call. So one question, and you start small.
Start small, start volunteering. That's awesome. So where in your life did you learn this tip? Just started wanting to volunteer, or took on too much at some point?
No. So Zig Ziglar had a book out in the 70s, I think 1975, called See You at the Top.
All right.
And in his book, one of his tips was start volunteering, like start getting outside of yourself. It's a big part of self-actualization is trying to do something for others. Like in helping others, we find ourselves.
Very cool. So the old Zig Ziglar book. I like it. Awesome, John. Well, thank you so much. We're going to move on to our next guest and move you backstage. Hello, Maganel.
Hey there.
Who are you?
Who am I? I love to have no finished answer to that question.
Ooh,
However, right now I am a soul coach and spiritual midwife for divorced midlife women who have no sense of who they are. That self-doubt has shaken them to the core after divorce. And so helping them stand at that midlife threshold and reimagine their second adulthood really gets me excited.
Oh, that gets me kind of excited. I like that. All right. Well, I've got a pretty big question for you. If I wanted to improve my spiritual health with volunteering, what simple tip would you give me?
The tip I would give, assuming that you beautiful people are already volunteering in some form, is
I sure hope so.
Take 15 minutes after a volunteer experience and go aside and reflect and process that experience. And actually, the best way to do that is with a tape record app and record your own voice talking into the app. I think you'll get something out of it that you won't just by journaling, and then play it back for yourself so you get to know yourself better.
All right. So after we're doing our volunteer, we're helping out. Take 15 minutes, maybe when you get home, and sit and reflect. But you said voice over writing.
That's right.
You think voice maybe it's easier to just let things flow versus having to write it all down?
Yeah, I do. And I just, from my experience, something happened. I was able to honor and be filled with wonder and curiosity about my own voice and what it was telling me when I played it back. That I've been a journaler for years, and it didn't do that for me. Reading back my journaling, it didn't do that at the same time.
Do you still journal, or are you just voice?
No, I do both.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, tell us where in your life journey you learned this tip.
I learned this tip from the woman who trained me to be a soul coach, who said to me at one point, she said, Maganel, just take 30 days to listen to your own voice. We're all bombarded every single day. We're all consuming massive amounts of information at an accelerated rate, and we never hear ourselves. We're just consuming. And we need to it's incredibly powerful to just push it all out and listen to your own voice.
Listen to your own voice. That's a solid tip. Awesome. Great. Well, we're going to move on to the round robin part of this. We'll bring Bree back out and John back out. And we will start with Bree. Can you really quickly refresh what your tip was?
Yes. Follow your heart to unravel your soul's purpose.
Follow your heart. All right, Maganel, thoughts?
Listen to your own voice. Take time to reflect and process your experience.
Do you have any thoughts on Bree's tip?
Yeah, I think that listening from the heart is definitely very different than listening with your mind. They're different, and something will happen if you can drop into your heart that will not happen with the analytical mind. So that's powerful.
I like it. John, do you have any thoughts on Bree's tip?
I would agree. I mean, yeah, it's in your emotional makeup. that will, you know, maybe logically you'll get there to volunteer, but your emotional makeup will keep you engaged.
Very cool. John, can you refresh what your tip was?
Sure. Ask a question and start small.
Ask a question, start small. Bree, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the starting small is huge. I started volunteering while I was working 40 to 60 hours a week, and I didn't have time to volunteer that much, but I started small. I started with 1 hour or one activity, and it grew and grew. So I absolutely love the start small.
I like it. Magana, what are your thoughts on John's tip?
Questions are super powerful, and we don't use them enough. So asking questions and asking open-ended questions and then genuinely listening by itself is terrific. Can really open up relationships with people.
Can you also refresh quickly what your tip was, Magana?
My tip was to take time for self-reflection and to process the experiences you have instead of just moving on to the next thing.
John, what are your thoughts on that?
Man, I live by that. Like I literally, and I try to teach that to my people, like especially if you're in a job situation and you've had a great weekend and you go into that Monday and it's a drag. You know, I teach people on Sunday as you're starting to, because a lot of times emotionally you start to hit that drag, like you start to be remorseful about the fact that you're going to work on Monday. And so I teach people to like relive and write down like 3 amazing things that happened to them. And it doesn't have to be an event. It could be something that's like somebody said, "Hey, I love you," or "I had a great time," or "Thanks for being here," something like that. You have that, and then you can relive that over and over throughout the entire week, and it takes the sting out of Monday. And I do that to this day. Mondays still bother me.
Mondays still bother me. Bree, what are your thoughts on Magana's tip?
Yeah, I think self-reflection is extremely important and undervalued. In my own experience, I did not take enough time to self-reflect. And over the past year, as I explored probably 24 different volunteer opportunities, it really was in the self-reflection did I understand what I really wanted to do, what I was meant to do, and also my self-worth and not giving away all of my time. So reflection played a huge role in just coming into my own.
That's interesting. You said, yeah, the not giving all your time up. It is an interesting balance of how much can you volunteer, how much can you donate, how much can you help others while not entirely sacrificing everything that you have to do for yourself, you know? It's a interesting balance. Bree, do you volunteer right now? How often do you volunteer?
So I volunteer a few times a week, and I do that with spiritual healing sessions.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Interesting. So I like Maganel. I like your theory because I hate journaling. Fuck that shit. I hate writing that down, and I never will ever read it again. I almost kind of feel like I use my content creation and like Facebook and social media as my journal. You know, somewhat maybe sure. a little embellished, obviously, for the social media effect. But you know, when you struggle when you're doing this, I kind of use that a little bit. But I think that. Yeah, the live part kind of makes it. I mean, you could even just go live or just record you're saying it onto social media. Obviously, some people may want to be a little more private. But yeah, that's cool. I like that. I like that tip. Any other last minute thoughts before we start thinking about our daily challenge?
I would say we're volunteering right now.
I would say so too.
I'm pretty sure I didn't fill out a W-9 and you didn't ask for my social security number.
I definitely like that you pointed that out because I would consider this.
You didn't want my Venmo. You didn't ask for any of that.
Right. No, yeah. It's everyone giving our time right here, you know, helping build and grow is I fucking love that. It's not the traditional volunteering, but I would call it volunteering. I mean,
hey, this is going out to the universe, and you know, for as long as YouTube's around.
YouTube, Facebook, all of them, yeah. Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that a little. I mean, essentially, why this show was created was I just meet people and travel, and I just see like not just lost, but just people that just don't know specific parts of things that I sometimes take for granted. And so I kind of just built to the point where I was like, why are we not just gathering people that know stuff and sharing it with everyone? So if you watch this show, hopefully, every week is a new topic, new this, and a new way to grow. So, and then we're all sitting here volunteering. None of us are paid. We're all just chilling here, sharing our life. Maganelle and Bree are just hanging out. John popped right back in, and we're all just here literally just to help people grow, right?
Mhm.
Good.
Being human. I get so much more joy going to the library and having a conversation with a librarian than getting onto Google. Like it's just a totally different experience.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Shit, I might have to. Yeah, I like that idea. I mean, I think going and talking to a librarian is a smart idea. I don't know if I've done that since I was in elementary school.
I always get shushed when I'm talking to a librarian, but
What'd you say?
I always get shushed. Like, shh.
Oh.
People are
You're not asking the right
now.
questions, John.
That's got to be childhood memory. These librarians are fabulous and they want to help people. And as soon as I get there, we have all kinds of conversations. There's several of them.
Awesome.
What were you looking for last time you were at a library?
I was looking for some fiction books that wasn't a genre I wasn't very familiar with. So
okay,
they came right alongside, and it was like I said, more satisfying than if I had just stayed on Google or stayed on the library website at home in front of my computer screen. And then we end up talking about other things like coloring your hair and. And it's just like there's this uplift that goes on between two humans.
I would love to share the last time I was at a library was for a death cafe.
Ooh.
Well, fucking tell us about that, obviously.
So it is really encouraging having open, non-judgmental, non-biased discussions about death and dying. And so people have, anyone's invited, and I've been to 3 since I found out about them. And they are just beautiful, and wonderful conversations come out of it. Education about death and dying, relinquishing the fear of death and dying comes out of it. So it is so empowering. I hope our library continues to do it. It's awesome. But look up Death Cafe. It's worldwide.
I'm familiar with that, but you've given me an idea to do one here. Thank you.
Perfect.
Time to volunteer and open up.
Time to volunteer.
All right, guys, we come to my favorite part of the show. This is going to be a little interesting. We need to come up with a daily challenge. It takes less than 5 minutes a day, costs $0, and is available to anyone from the Sudan to Canada. What thoughts do we have?
Research opportunities.
To volunteer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little broad, but we'll get back into that. Go ahead. Maganelle, I think you were about to say something.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying. My mind is racing to see if it applies absolutely everywhere. But I mean, like basically, as you're going about your daily business, when you're out doing errands or shopping, stop and pay attention to a store clerk, or it could be somebody you encounter in the aisles. Just like make a connection. A tiny one. Maybe you literally just, some of us are introverts, just smile, a genuine smile, or how's your day going, or something, because we really don't have too much of that right now.
I can agree with that. All right. So research something. What if we did something along the lines of think of like 3 topics that your favorite topics and figure out how to volunteer in those topics, or maybe
That'd
each
be good.
day
Write it down, Austin.
Yeah, each day for 5 minutes. I mean, volunteering, obviously, I hope you're doing 5 minutes a day. I guess that's 35 minutes a week. That's not bad. If you're volunteering 30 minutes a week, I'm pretty happy with you. I'm all right with that. So maybe 5 minutes a day, we find something that we're passionate about, something we like, and a way to volunteer that. So if you like to paint, I mean, teaching is an easy way to volunteer, right? We're all sitting here right now teaching and giving advice and giving information away and, volunteering. So that's something easy to do. But I also want to tie somehow into Maganel's voice journaling. Maybe that's something we do. You research a new way to volunteer. I just learned of one. This is crazy. So I'm part of a Rotary Club. I just joined. I just moved like 5-6 months ago, something like that. And like about 3 weeks ago, I joined a Rotary Club. And actually, I haven't even joined yet. I haven't even been to a meeting yet because I postponed it. They take all. I live on an island. They take all the glass bottles and they have a grinder to make sand, and then they go and give out the sand to whoever needs it, just anyone that needs it. And I was like, what a crazy, unique way that I never would have known if I didn't live on an island to go volunteer. So we go and collect as many glass bottles as possible. People keep them for us, bring them all in one spot, grind it down, and then make sand, and we use that on our island. Kind of interesting, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So that is, I'm thinking something like, I like maybe doing something where you record our thoughts, maybe post them on social media if you are a freak like me. That's also accountability helps too. And then maybe also research a passionate way to volunteer. How do you guys feel about that? Thoughts?
Yeah, I want to throw in John's, idea of, asking questions. I feel like that's, you find these opportunities wherever you are. So you'd be anywhere in the world. You can go to, your community events, like Magdalene said, and just start a conversation. So you research these opportunities just by living. Then you record your ideas of how you can volunteer, and you ask those questions. How can I actually implement this?
Yeah. Okay. So maybe we do something like this. Maybe we ask the question. Like, for me, I'm going to use social media because first off, it's accountability. Second off, I can tag all you guys and make you guys do it. Makes it simpler. So I would ask a question like, hey, I love soccer. What's a way I can volunteer in that industry? And maybe, so your social media should be able to help you with that, and that can solve that problem. And then, I won't be able to, I guess, so that'd be the questions and the research. And then we have to do some sort of voice journalism, maybe about maybe we do a little research, like people talk about it, we go search it, and then you just do like a 30-second video of you self-reflecting about your results and your findings. And then hopefully that'll spur people to actually go do the volunteer now that they've done the research. But I guess we can't force them to do everything, right? How does that sound? Thoughts, tips, tricks?
Oh, here's another trick with freeing yourself up to not filter your reflection is go into third person. Talk about yourself in third person.
Okay. All right. So I think we ask questions. And so for people that don't have social media or don't want to use it, you can do this. You can go to the librarian. Shoot, go down to the librarian and say, hey, I love painting. How can I volunteer? And maybe they have a paint class. They're ready for you to volunteer right there. So you can text your mom. You can call your second removed cousin, however you want. Let's ask some questions and find out ways that we can volunteer for what we love. So you're doing what you love. Your hobby now becomes your volunteering. You're helping others. And then let's do like a 30-second reflection on stuff we learn. So if we learn about a way to go create glass or create sand out of old glass, we can do a little recording, and you don't have to post. If you don't want to, I will be posting mine. But I think that's solid. I think that's a solid challenge. You guys
Austin, I have something to add to that.
All right, let's make it crazier.
So if spoken aloud next to your computer or wherever your cell phone is, just speak aloud. Charity opportunities near me. Say that aloud.
Let's let the AI do it.
Volunteer opportunities near me, and just say that aloud.
Volunteer
as
opportunities.
loud as you can. And what you're going to find when you get on Facebook and Google next, these things are going to pop up and get sent to you. It's going to be like magic.
Everyone, get your phone out right now. Volunteer opportunities, charity opportunities.
It's going to come to you. And then too, there are Facebook groups you can join in your community where there are like 501c3 organizations that are all part of that. And then you can see like all the different opportunities there are. Like, we're cleaning up a park, we're doing this, we're doing that, blah, 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 blah. So it's not hard to find opportunities. It's what you want to do and who you want to do it for.
Perfect. I got it. All right. Daily challenge. Ask how to volunteer for one of your passions, then reflect your voice for 30 seconds on your results. We're all done then. Our mission is accomplished. Feel good about that one? Are you able to do it with me? I sure hope so. All right. Well, guys, this is the end of our show. I'm going to put you all backstage, say some last remarks. And thank you so much for coming out. You guys were awesome guests. What a fun show. I told you it was going to go somewhere that we didn't think it was going to go. And it always happens that way. Thank you all so much for coming. This is the end of Millionaires Are Made. If you haven't seen us before, we're the show where we believe everyone has something that they can teach you, and everyone that you meet, you can learn from. So if you learned a little something, we had 3 awesome guests here. I hope that you enjoyed it. We do all 6 aspects: physical, financial, social, spiritual, and mental and intellectual. Today we did spiritual health, on volunteering and the importance of volunteering. We had some awesome tips. Really great tips, actually. Definitely go back and watch this. Our challenge is going to be ask how to volunteer, including one of your passions. And then we're going to actually record our own voice reflecting about the research we found. So if you aren't volunteering, or if your spiritual health feels a little weak, this can help at least do some research, and maybe you can go volunteer and do something that you love and help other people at the same time, which is the best way to volunteer. Woohoo!